This is Proxy Countdown. Welcome to the big show for the week of July 29, 2024. Alongside my tag team partner, Matt Moscardi, I'm Damian Rollis. On today's countdown, Boeing makes a decision. The Tisch family plays Nepo musical chairs at Lowe's. Howard Schultz is polishing his boomerang at Starbucks. An existential crisis at Autodesk. And on the big vote, our first annual award show spectacular, Matt. We have 17,000 awards to hand out. I can't wait.
It's just so many people to thank for this year.
Actually, we have lots of good awards. Stay tuned for that at the end of the show. Let me cover the news somewhat briefly this week before we hand off to our award show. Just the highlights. I just selected the most important stories. First, Boeing taps aerospace veteran Robert Kelly Ortberg, that's his name, to replace Dave Calhoun as CEO. He was most recently the special advisor to the Office of Chair and CEO at United Tech, whatever that means. Previously CEO at Collins Aerospace and Rockwell Collins. Showing he's serious, Matt, Kelly has just resigned from the board of RTX Corporation.
Now I take him seriously.
Safra Catz stepped down at the Walt Disney Company on the board. Stepped down. No more Safra Catz. Shareholders voted to remove Deepak Raghavan at Manhattan Associates 2024 AGM in May. And on July 18th, the board accepted his resignation. They're actually letting him go.
It took him a little while.
It did.
What were they doing?
Took over 2 months. Barry Diller, Alexis Herman, and Mark Bolland all resigned from the board of the Coca-Cola Company. Unusual to see three at once there. At ServiceNow, weird story at ServiceNow. Okay. COO CJ Desai came to a mutual agreement with the company that Mr. Desai would resign from all positions with the company. Okay?
Okay.
This was after an internal investigation prompted by a complaint where the board determined that Desai's hiring of the Chief Information Officer of the U.S. Army as the company's head of global public sector violated company policy. Okay, so he violated company policy.
Okay.
When he hired this man. But because CJ Desai maintains that he did not intentionally violate company policy, he will receive a severance package including all unpaid salary and bonus, severance of another 6 months of salary and bonus, health care, blah, 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 blah. So there you go. Because he did not intentionally violate company policy.
I did it on purpose, and because he didn't say that,
he gets a severance package.
He gets paid.
And finally, at Lowe's, the Tisch family generational Nepo handover has begun. Hold on to your Tisch hat for this one if you have a Tisch hat. James
ordered one.
James S. Tisch will step down as CEO, but stay on as board chair.
Obviously.
His brothers, Andrew H. Tisch and Jonathan M. Tisch. So the reason why I'm using middle initials here is that when you have so many family members, some of them with the same name, the middle initial actually becomes relevant.
You actually have to know them, yeah.
They're going to retire as co-chairs, but will remain lurking as director emeritus.
Director emeritus, that's when you sit in the back of the room and you drink the coffee and have the bagel.
Maybe even at the table, but you just don't technically get a vote.
That's okay.
Jonathan M. Tisch will also retire as president, but remain as executive chair at subsidiary Lowe's Hotels.
Okay.
The new CEO will be James's son. That's right, his son, Benjamin J. Tisch. Also,
J for James, I assume.
Yeah. Also, Andrew's son, Alexander, will join the board with the new CEO, his first cousin. So that's what's going on at
Are
Lowe's.
they going to run out of executive positions at some point?
Let's move on to our proxy cage matches. We have three to highlight. First, Starbucks ex-CEO and founder Howard Schultz is said to be opposing a potential settlement with activist investor Elliott Management after it was reported that Elliott has built a significant stake in Starbucks. You wonder, is this opening the door for another return? I didn't think it was going to happen, but could we see Howard Schultz boomerang back again.
Well, we're over the DEI hump and the labor hump that he didn't like, right? So now we're on the other side of that. So now we can just go back to opposing activists and whatever it is Howard Schultz wants to do with his boomerang.
Activist investor Nelson Peltz is back. This time he's targeting Solventum, which actually might be the perfect target for Peltz, who is infamously anti-woke. He's skeptical about women and people of color. As the Solventum board is 11 members, including 6 women and 2 black men. Perfect.
Yeah, but they weren't in Marvel movies, were they?
Yeah, let me give you the quote that Matt is referring to there. This is what Nelson Peltz said about Marvel movies. Why do I have to have a Marvel that's all women? Not that I have anything against women, but why do I have to do that? Why can't I have Marvels that are both? Why do I need an all-black cast? He was referring to the movie Black Panther, one of Marvel's most successful movies ever.
Yeah. This is his chance at Solventum to change the female black cast members.
And finally, there's this headline from our Proxy Cage matches. Too little, too late. Activist investor Elliott remains unimpressed with Southwest's plan to eliminate open seating. They don't care. All right. Yeah.
I mean, unimpressed isn't opposed to it. They're just shrugging.
Let's move over to our vote results table. There's still some proxy votes coming in. Nothing remarkable going on at VF, Advanced Drainage Systems, Booz Allen, Constellation Brands, and Brown Forman. Although I was excited to learn that there is a large cap company called Advanced Drainage Systems.
Yeah. Did they upgrade the name every time they go up, from small to mid cap, mid to large?
To me, it just refers to the fact that they're doing something better than gravity. Because when I think of drainage, I just think of gravity. And finally, there's an existential battle going on at Autodesk where shareholders passed both ends of the special meeting coin. So management's proposal, which would allow stockholders holding 25% or more of the voting power to call special meetings, passed, as well as a competing shareholders proposal to let stockholders holding 15% or more of the company's stock to call a special meeting. So what are we going to do here, Matt? You think we'll just settle on 20 and get it over with?
This actually says something about who's voting on these things more than anything. Did they read any of this? Like,
pick one. Pick a lane.
One?
Pick a number.
They couldn't. They just were like, we like both of those, so vote for all of them. And now what do? That's bananas.
Finally, that's it. Matt, we have so many awards. Let's segue over to our huge, big award show. You ready for this? Deep breath?
Yes. Awards, the 2024
this is exciting,
Year in
actually.
Review Proxy Countdown Awards.
I'll remind all of our audience that while Matt and I seem like silly people, we actually put a great amount of effort and time into all of what we do here, including these rewards. I mean, for my awards, what I did is I looked at every single show document from the past year, and I picked out the best out of my 3 categories that I cover, which is top stories, proxy cage matches, and voting, proxy voting results. So I'm excited to present these to you.
I did more standardized awards in as much as I picked top directors of the year and top boards of the year, which exists. There are actually a few organizations that give out actual awards. So we're joining in that game, but we're actually using data. We're not going to do the thing where we pick somebody and we're just like, you're cool, you win an award this year, or have you submit your own nomination. This is all a data-driven award show. So,
are you referring to the analysis at ISS?
Where
it's a bit of a dart
analysis,
board.
So I can't be
dart board analysis team.
So we're gonna have some director and board awards. Let's do it.
Here you go. Start with top stories. I think these are. I wrote these for you, Matt. I wanted you to feel good about life. Best new director to trigger the anti-woke.
I like this already.
That's Sylvia Davila at FedEx Corporation. According to FedEx's press release, Sylvia brings vast experience promoting diversity and inclusion and leveraging innovation for ESG agendas. Matt, this is the perfect anti-woke director ever.
Stop right there, because someone needs to tell me what an ESG agenda is.
Most famous director step down. Sheryl Sandberg at Meta Platforms.
Wow. It was good.
Best new dude director. That would be The Rock at TKO. Remember The Rock? He's in our database now.
He is in our database now, and that makes me very happy.
Although I don't know, for those of you who use our platform at freeflowanalytics.com, I'm actually not sure. Can you search The Rock, or do you have to put in his stupid real name?
I'm sorry, you have to put in Dwayne. Yeah.
That's terrible. Whoever developed this database sucks. All right. Best new throwback director hire as a result of zero company oversight. Does that make sense? You understand that one?
I'm going to pretend I do. Just give me the answer.
Meta appoints John Arnold, a former day trader at Enron, who heavily profited as the company was collapsing, and then Meta immediately assigns him to its audit and risk oversight committee. That's because there is no oversight at Meta Platforms, so they can get whoever they want.
You know, I was just doing a Where Are They Now? So we've been working on some other bits for other shows and things, and I was doing a Where Are They Now and looking at old Enron board members. Most of them don't have jobs, but I did find a Lehman Brothers director who is on the Finance and Risk Committee of U.S. Bank Corp.
Oh.
So hopefully this becomes a growing trend in which we forget the names of the people who sank companies.
I don't think we knew the names in the first place. Best director dance.
Oh, this is by far my favorite category.
At Superior Energy Services. Okay. First, Julie Robertson resigned. 3 days later, shareholders elected Ian Foster to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Julie Robertson. Again, this is their words, okay? Then, Timothy Winfrey resigned, and shareholders elected Julie Robertson to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Timothy Winfrey. See what they did there?
I do.
My head is still spinning. I don't even know what happened. I can't even do the math there.
When you calculate her tenure, which tenure do you calculate?
Biggest shock in fair pay practices, okay? Biggest shock in fair pay practices. Microchip technology reduced salaries for its CEO, NEOs, and board members by 20% to match other expense reduction actions at the company. Incredible.
Wow. Does that include their options?
And when I say best fair pay practice, that'll be the only one of its kind in the entire tradable universe.
Let's call that fair adjacent.
Best non-retirement retirement. Okay? Best non-retirement retirement. After less than 2 years of board service, Jacinto Hernandez is stepping down from the board at Altria Group. In connection with his retirement, Hernandez will provide strategic advisory services to Altria for a period of 5 years at an annual consulting fee of $300,000.
5 years?
Yeah, that's $1.5 million.
So you retired over the 5-year period, or you retire now? And that's very confusing. He's still there.
How about this one? Best perk for being a Glass Cliff CEO being pushed out by an impatient boomerang founder. Got that one? Got it?
No, perk. Oh, I like perks.
That would be Stephanie Lenart, who got pushed out of Under Armour after 13 months by Kevin Plank. Her best perk is they're going to pay the remaining rent on her apartment lease in Baltimore. Come on. That's a great perk. Best stupid and pointless resignation. Okay? Boeing's Dave Calhoun, who according to the language at the company, he decided to step down as CEO at the end of 2024. He decided.
Yeah, he did decide that. And I like that he decided to do it 9 months after he actually decided.
Best pointless fake company moment. Tyson Foods waives retirement age for director Barbara Tyson.
Yeah.
Best double Stevens step down because the Stevens are a trust and trusts need busting. Warner Brothers Discovery is losing 2 directors named Stephen Myron and Stephen Newhouse. because the company learned about a Justice Department investigation into whether the Stevens' presence on the board violated antitrust law.
I'm not sure it wasn't just they wanted less Stevens on the board.
Best shareholder oversight is a joke moment. This is
the hardest one to find a winner.
One. So Kenny Wilson stepped down as CEO and director of Jabil following the completion of an internal investigation related to corporate policies. A Jabil spokesperson said, in order to respect the privacy and confidentiality of the individuals involved, we will not be speaking about the details of the investigation or the results. So Kenny is required to assist Jabil in the event of certain legal proceedings, and for violating those policies where he'll need to be available to assist in legal proceedings, they're going to give him $2 million in cash and 2024 equity.
That is the most expensive shut up that I've ever seen.
Best new CFO named Butch.
Was this a long category of potential?
That would be Butch Orlog Jr., new CFO at Raymond James Financial. Best pointless demotion as the result of an internal audit committee investigation. I think this is one of your favorites, Matt.
Yeah, I love a good audit committee investigation.
Deborah Clifford transitioned from her previous position as Chief Financial Officer to her new role as Chief Strategy Officer.
Yeah, that's right. That was Accenture, right? Was that Accenture? Is that who that was?
You think I would know the name of that, yeah.
I love this story because I love when you can find the person who is responsible for something negative happening and you put them in a position to have slightly more power than they did before as the demotion.
And finally, my favorite top story in 2024 so far happened at Viva Systems. First, this great tidbit. On the recommendation of a special subcommittee of the Compensation Committee. That's right, a special subcommittee. And we're talking about a committee of 3 people, so
yeah, well,
I'm guessing it's probably one guy.
2 of them.
CEO and founder Peter Gassner was granted 2.6 million premium price performance-based stock options outside of the scope of the company's compensation plan. How about that for a special subcommittee of the Compensation Committee? Incredible.
Yeah, that is a subcommittee that he was happy about, though.
And then there's this. A majority of shareholders voted no on Director Paul Secri. But the board's decision to not accept Mr. Secri's resignation was based in part on Mr. Secri's extensive board experience, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why were the shareholders pissed in the first place? Because of his extensive board experience.
That's why they voted him
In addition
out.
to serving at Viva Systems, he currently serves at VTV Therapeutics, Longboard Pharmaceuticals, CompuGen, AdhereTech, Spring Discovery, and eGenesis. I love that one. I just love this. I love that.
They voted against him because he's on too many boards.
And the board
and they kept him because he's on boards.
All right, let's go over to the Proxy Cage Matchiest Awards, okay?
Oh my God, there's so many awards.
Oh, there's so many. There's so many. Greatest Proxy Cage Rumble overall. That would be Disney, of course.
That's
3-way fight.
Far.
Bob Iger versus Tryon, which is Nelson Peltz versus Blackwells, who were actually pro Iger. It was a crazy mess. That's the best. Best evil Proxy Cage match. That would be, of course, Exxon Mobil, who sued their own shareholders, Arjuna Capital, and Follow This to kill a proposed shareholder resolution. Best boring quote from a Proxy Cage match filing. Here's the quote. All references to proposals 5, 6, and 8 at pages 6, 26, 33, and 35 of the Tryon Group's proxy statement are amended and restated as follows. Proposals 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. That's how stupid that Proxy Cage match became.
That was
like anyone's playing the game there and tracing back that. And yeah. Best full-on we hate you all Proxy Cage match. Ankara Holdings, remember them? They said that they were proposing replacing all of Norfolk Southern's top management, including its CEO and COO, and they nominated 8 directors to the Railroad Operators Board. That was a good
doesn't get more I hate everything you're doing than that.
Best revelation from a Proxy Cage match. This is something that we dug out here at the Free Float. I'm calling this the strange case of Dr. Jones and Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
Norfolk Southern's new safety committee chair, Chris Jones. First of all, he did not have a check mark next to his name for environmental and safety skill in 2023, but he did have the check mark next to his name for safety in 2024. But then the mystery deepened while Jones's bio included no mention of the word safety in 2023 and referred to him as Mr. Jones. His bio in 2024 suddenly refers to him as Dr. Jones and mentions the word safety 15 times. I just love
the
this.
worst part. The worst part about this story is, by all accounts, Chris Jones actually has safety experience and did get a doctorate. So I think maybe they were dissing him last year and not this year, but the whole thing is strange.
Stupid. Best stupid proxy cage match analysis. This is from ISS in the Disney fight. They said that they backed Nelson Peltz because Nelson, quote, could be additive to the succession process.
That is where the analysis lands. Could.
The aforementioned Nelson Peltz, I actually already said this quote, best misogynistic and racist quote from a proxy cage match. That's Nelson's comment about having too many black people and women.
I mean, the
at Marvel.
twofer of misogyny and racism is really that's a difficult feat.
And finally, my favorite from proxy cage matches, best accidental pathway to binding votes at shareholder meetings. Understand? The best accidental pathway to binding votes at all shareholder meetings. In Exxon's extremely whiny letter to Glass Lewis, it said, quote, for shareholder democracy to be real, a no needs to mean no. Right?
Yeah.
This is opening the future to binding resolutions at shareholder meetings, because that obviously means that a yes must mean a yes.
I like that. That was the only line in that letter I enjoyed.
And finally, let me try to wrap this up quickly. I know Matt's falling asleep. These are my awards from the votes, from the proxy votes. First of all, best 2-share owning boss move moment, dude, whatever. At Polish.com, a proxy contest by a single investor with 2 shares. Gerald Haman. He tried to get himself on the board. It failed, but hats off to Gerald for trying. He you know what? He actually got 20% of the vote. 20%. 2 shares.
I'm gonna announce this right now on this show. We own 10 shares of Fubo TV.
Uh-oh.
And I want to be on that board.
I want you to be on that board.
So, Gerald, I'm going to reach out to you to ask how you got 20% of the vote, because
Incredible.
We have a plan here.
Well,
we have a plan.
If you do the math, he had 2 votes and got 20%. You have 10 votes, so you should get 100% of the vote.
I should get
Best say on pay failure goes to JetBlue. 76% of shareholders said no on pay. Best smart shareholders. This is my only positive statement of the whole award show. At Jefferies Financial Group, 29% of the vote rejected say on pay. And at the same time, the entire compensation committee also received over 20% votes against their election. The only aligned pay and compensation committee.
Nice.
Yeah, the only one.
That's nice alignment.
Best board that doesn't care what you think. A majority of shareholders at Liberty Energy said no to Director Ken Babcock. The board, however, said that Mr. Babcock will remain because it is in the best interest of stockholders.
Oh, well. It's almost like getting voted out for being on too many boards and then keeping them for being on too many boards.
The best shareholder proposal of the season was easy. That's all of the simple majority votes shareholder proposals. They had a lot of wins from simple majority voting.
Big year for John Chevedden, Jim McRitchie.
Maybe you'll disagree with this one, Matt, but my award for the stupidest shareholder vote of 2024 has to be 77% of shareholders saying yes to Dave Calhoun at Boeing.
That's the most contentious award given out. That's the snub award for the year, because you had Kimball Musk.
Yeah.
You had the Musk pay.
Exactly.
There were so many contentious votes that I could have put there.
Most surprising shareholder proposal win so far in 2024 at Wingstop. Our proposal by the Accountability Board requesting a greenhouse gas emissions report received the support of 52% of the vote. How did that happen? What's going on at Wingstop? Who are these shareholders?
You know what? The fact is, there's a lot of gas coming out of Wingstop, apparently.
Best example of why analyzing the shareholder democracy is so damn confusing. Despite all the successes with simple majority voting so far in 2024. I mean, Matt, we had votes of simple majority voting that passed in the 90s.
Yeah.
At Thermo Fisher, only 7% said yes. What the hell?
There's no
what
rhyme
the
or
absolute
reason to
hell?
this. I think they skipped that proposal when they were trying to skim it.
And finally, the most surprising result of a shareholder vote against directors in 2024, what resulted in a resignation at Kirkland. Stephen Collins and Wilson Orr III were voted out, and they actually left the board. That's it. Those are my awards so far.
Nice
for 2024, Matt. I'm excited to hear yours.
All right.
What do you have?
Let's go for some director awards. Are you ready for some director
I'm ready,
awards?
Yes.
All right. Here is these are all non-executive directors, and I'm focusing on directors for the most part that are on 3 or more boards and have some influence on those boards. These are powerful people. I don't want to do like the riffraff. Like you joined Mark Zuckerberg's board. Congratulations. No one cares. So here's the non-executive director awards. Best League 1 and 2 TSR Performance Award.
Okay, so
now League 1 and 2 are the small, micro, mid-cap companies, right? 3 and 4
digging deep
on
here.
our data.
I like this.
Is our large cap and mega cap companies. These are small time directors, lots of small time boards. Best TSR performance goes to Julie Dill, who's on the Sterling Infrastructure Board. She has 11% influence there. And the Rayonier Advanced Materials Board, 16% influence. She's a Hall of Famer in our data. She's on 3 boards in our database. She bats 920 on TSR over the last 5 years. 920. If shareholders want somebody who knows how to give them money, basically print money, follow Julie Dill around on the small cap world. She's a draft target for the large caps too, I think. Best League 3 and 4 performance.
Okay.
These are the big dogs.
Yep.
These are large cap, mega cap companies. The winner goes, the award goes to Beth Pritchard.
Another woman. Beth Pritchard.
Another woman. ELF Beauty Board, 13% influence there. She's on 3 boards in our database. She's a Hall of Famer also. She bats, get this, 818 TSR.
Wow.
759 earnings.
Wow.
Meaning, just think of it this way. She's in the 80th percentile. Well, every board she's been on is in the 80th percentile for returning value to shareholders, and they earn a ton of money. They're in the 76th percentile for actually earning money. They make money, and they're making you money.
Yeah.
She's bats 946 on controversies, which at a large cap is basically like you don't do anything
Unheard
wrong.
of. Yeah.
The companies don't do anything wrong. And she bats 880 on carbon. They don't even spew carbon in doing it.
Wow.
She's giving you money. She makes money. She doesn't do it with controversies, and she's not bad for the environment.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Elf Beauty is the company, right, with the famous ad campaign this year. Too Many Dicks, right?
Too Many Dicks on Boards. That was the ELF Beauty. So she's a part of that.
Yeah.
She was a part of that. She is one of the best all-round top performers in our entire database of U.S. directors. These are all U.S. directors, by the way. But the U.S. director database, she's one of the best ever.
Incredible.
Best added director by performance. This is a new director put on a board. And these are we have a working theory here that if you could pick a company based on who's on the board, wouldn't you want to follow sort of choosy directors who have a history of outperforming, who are picking boards that they think they'll get paid at, they'll do a good job at?
Matt, why not?
This is a working theory.
Why not?
Right?
Yeah.
Best director added based on their performance. Susan Mahoney, another woman.
Wow.
She is on the Axum Therapeutics board with 11% influence and the Zymeworks board with 13% influence. She's an all-star. She got added to Axum in October of 2023. She bats 769 on TSR and 676 on earnings. She is definitely a draft target. Susan, I'm gonna look into Axum because I don't know anything about them, but if you're on it, it's probably not bad. Here's the director that has somehow survived. Somehow, no one voted this director out.
So a poorly performing director.
This is a director who's in the worst TSR bracket that we have, who has been on the board for 7 or more years.
Okay.
Henry Mayer. Thank you, Henry, this year.
A man, but not in a good way. Not in a good way, yeah.
Kansas City Southern, Canadian Pacific, Kansas City, C.H. Robinson board member. He's on 3 boards. He's the ex-CEO at FedEx.
Yeah.
He bats a stellar .026 in earnings.
Ooh.
And 151 on TSR. Oh. And he somehow has been on the Kansas City Railroad boards for 11 or 7, 8 years in aggregate.
I know you're just looking at data, but I think you basically just blew up the DEI versus MEI argument, right? I mean, the from what you're telling me, the 3 highest performing directors essentially that you listed are women, and the worst performing was a man. And again, you didn't cherry pick; you just looked at the data.
I literally there was no filter for like whether you're a man or a woman. This is just performance.
So you just dispelled the myth in like 10 minutes. Great, thank you.
Henry Mayer somehow still on the board. Up and coming director to watch is and again, the filter here was I'm looking in leagues 1 and 2, the small cap boards, where a director's been on 3 or more boards at that level, going around small cap, mid cap companies, but they're a Hall of Famer or an all-star. They're basically top performer all round. Mm-hmm. And then I did a filter that just said they're not at totalitarian companies, right? So, and then I sorted by, who on average did the best. And the best was Neka Rimmer, a black woman. Uh-huh. She's a chemical engineer. She's got an MBA. She was pre-law. She's on the boards of Wellness Pet and Wheels Pro, which are both private, and Energizer Holdings, like Energizer, like the battery company, right? Energizer. She's ex-Boston Consulting Group. McCormick. She actually ran the Global Flavors and Extracts division at McCormick. And I love vanilla. Yeah. I really love me some vanilla extract. She's an all-star, 695 overall batting average, 768 on earnings. She is literally the same or better than approximately 70% of League 3 and 4 directors. So she's an up-and-comer. She should get... In fact, if there was a board draft or trades, I would trade for Neka Rimmer on any board that you can think of.
For everything you just listed, all of her accolades, all of her success, all of her high performance, all her background, her experience, you basically just described what J.D. Vance would call a DEI hire, right?
That's the irony here, right? Yes. Like it doesn't matter how well she does, she's a DEI hire. And finally, for our individual director awards, the winningest carbon performer who was added to a board since January.
Very specific. I like very specific.
Very specific. I looked at every director based on how they performed on carbon intensity, carbon emissions, and who was the best ad. Which company got the best carbon director during the year? The best ad was Stacy Smith, which is a he/him. Oh, it's not a woman. Oh, so it was almost a sweep of women. Okay, it was almost a sweep.
Yeah, close enough.
He's a Hall of Famer. Uh-huh. He was not added to just one. He was added to 2 different boards since January 2023, Intel and Wolfspeed board. He bats 995 on carbon intensity. 995. He's if you want some strong carbon performance, you're going to set a carbon target. Stacy's been there. He's done that. He's a guy to ask. Yeah, those are my individual director awards.
I love it. And again, I think Stacy is proof that our data is not political. I mean, you weren't just trying to highlight successful women. I mean, there, as you said at the end, there's a man who weighing his carbon performance. ESG data, it's not political. It's just data.
This is not political. Yeah. I'm going to actually reach out to everyone except for Henry Mayer, who probably would not want me to reach out to him.
It might be fun to reach out to Henry, to be honest.
And I'm going to let them know they won. They won some awards.
Maybe Henry wants to know what he can improve on, though. So maybe you should reach out to him.
Board awards. Oh, these are team awards.
Great.
Because this is a team sport. Being on a board, it's a team sport.
Absolutely.
Most diverse board of the year.
Okay.
This is the DEIES board of the year. We actually covered this on our Tuesday show, Business Pants. So if you want it, if you already heard that, you're going to get it again. But Train Technologies wins as the DEIES board. 17% of the board are Asian, Black, Hispanic, Middle Eastern. They're people of color and women. They're women of color.
Sure.
17% of the board, which is surprisingly high and sad that that's high.
Yeah, it is. But go ahead.
But they have 19% of the influence, a positive performance, a power gap.
That's great.
Which is great. In fact, female influence on the board is 49.9%.
Okay, so
it is 0.1% less influence than half. So it's basically half of the influence of the board is female powered. This is a female powered board. There is strong diversity. 58% of the board has advanced degrees, so they're smart.
Well, because it's full of women, yeah.
And so Train Technologies, that's you're the big winner for the most diverse board. Most investor-friendly board.
Okay, what does that mean?
This is board that is the most independent, meaning it's a democratic board. No one controls all the influence. They're relatively strong performers. Insider influence is really low, and they have a strong mix of skills. There's a skills mix. So if you're an investor and you're looking around at boards and you want to say like, oh, well, where am I going to have the most say? Where are the people, that have the widest range of experiences, the most open-minded? This is good for engagement. These are the people to talk to. The winner this year is Ulta Beauty.
Is that now? Ulta Beauty is also majority women. No,
it is majority 55% women, 64% have advanced degrees. The CEO is on the board. He's a male. He's on the board, but he's not the chair of the board. This is one of the rare companies.
And I think it's the same also at Train Technologies, your other company, because there are two boards where the CEO is a man and yet still has this incredible amount of female power and presence.
Yes.
It's very unusual in our database.
The average age on Ulta Beauty is 60. So it's a full 4 years younger than most boards on average. There's 48% female influence on the board. 58% of the directors are starters or better in terms of performance. And insider influence overall is actually really low at only 23%. Huh. The skills mix is fascinating. The number one skill on the board is mechanical skills, meaning, they're involved in sort of the production processes plus, building and architecting and stuff like that.
When you twist the lipstick out, you have to kind of, right? There's a mechanism in there.
There's a little thing. Yeah.
Ulta Beauty.
But the second most is sales and marketing. This is the second most largest skill, which means like you are literally those two skills you don't usually see side by side, but you've got mechanical, sales and marketing, comms and media, economics and accounting is fourth. On most boards, it's first, and this board, it's fourth. And then computers and electronics, they're just the top 5 skills alone. You have such a mix. So congrats, Ulta Beauty, for having a very investor-friendly board. I got 3 more. Okay. You ready for the last 3?
Yep.
Board I'm most likely to have a beer with this year.
Now, that you, Matt Mascardi.
Me, that I would want to have a beer with.
Got it.
Yeah. And this, I focused on our knowledge map data. Okay. I wanted the board that had the highest level of knowledge overall in design, fine arts, and history.
Okay, I like this.
I thought it would be fun to hang
maybe
out with a board.
Maybe it's a non-alcoholic beer. Maybe even like a lemonade.
Yeah, maybe it's more like a wine spritzer.
A hipster wine spritzer.
Yeah. The winner is Lee Enterprises.
Oh, is that right? Lee Enterprises.
The board includes multiple journalists.
I don't even know what that is.
Someone who is a poet, an educator, a psych major, a book publisher, and then a guy who knows Shari Redstone.
Good enough.
That guy's got to have tons of stories.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I'm hoping that the research consultant and the SPAC guy with the accounting degree from who worked at Deloitte and Goldman, I'm hoping they take their kids to water polo that day. I'll just hang out with the rest of the board.
They'll probably wander off and uncomfortably hit on someone at the bar anyway. So I wouldn't
actually
worry about them.
Maybe it'd make it better if it's a good mix. If they're there, then we can. And maybe
True diversity.
Yeah. All right, board I'm most likely to feel dumb next to.
Oh, well, that
year.
could be every board, but which one is the most likely?
No, it's not every board. It's surprisingly not every board. This year, the award goes to Bloom Energy.
Bloom Energy, okay.
Where 86% of the board has advanced degrees.
Wow.
16% of the board influence is biology, has a biology background, 15% engineering background, 13% physics background.
Wow.
The two stupidest people on this board are the VC guy and the guy from McKinsey.
Okay,
those are the two
that's pretty stupid, though. Yeah.
people. The most intimidating board member on Bloom Energy has to be by far Barbara Berger, PhD.
Yeah.
She got her doctorate in chemistry at California Institute of Technology. And that was after she got an MBA in finance from Berkeley. I'm not even sure I could have a conversation.
You had me at Barbara Berger, let alone all of her credentials.
So I'm pretty sure if they ever invited me into that boardroom, I would just wilt like a flower. And then finally.
Oh, finally. What an award show. This is a little self-applause here.
The final award of the year.
Incredible.
It's not an upper. It's a bit of a downer. This is the board that still can't find a woman or person of color. Oh. It's 2024.
Wait, what? Really? Seriously?
This board has no women or people of color on it at all.
Wow.
The company is Skills Inc.
Okay.
SKILLZ Inc. Skills.
Well, this makes sense to me now because it's a video game company headquartered in Las Vegas of all places, which you don't see very often.
100% white and male. The CEO has 80% of the voting power. He actually made himself the head of the nominating committee. That is... So now you know exactly what you're getting into. They're definitely not hiring based entirely on just skills. This is the CEO who owns the voting power selecting his friends to put on this board. All of his friends happen to be white and male. They did have a woman, but they did not find a new woman to replace her when she left in the last year. This is a board that cannot find a woman or person of color in 2024 to put on this board. That's it. That's a lot of awards.
That's incredible. This might be the best ESG-focused, shareholder democracy-focused award show in the history of the world. It has to be. Has to be.
I mean, there's stiff competition for that title.
That's the Proxy Countdown for the week of July 29th, 2024. Join us next time when we jump back into the alternative democracy pool, forever on the lookout for shareholder sharks, floating band-aids, and wayward directors.